This had some observers wondering if the presence of Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese would have the stands packed for Team USA.
This time through, I mean, we didn't have nearly enough in stock for just the regular jersey t-shirts and whatnot, and then it's just been nonstop orders.
Diana Taurasi just dropped a bombshell about Caitlin Clark. The basketball world is buzzing, but what's really going on behind the scenes? Taurasi's comments have opened up a can of worms about player selection, marketing, and the future of women's basketball. Let's break it down and see why this drama is more than just locker room talk. Let's talk about Caitlin Clark. She's not just another player making waves in women's basketball. She's a statistical powerhouse. Clark's performance has been nothing short of phenomenal, ranking in the top 20 across multiple categories. We're talking 12th in points scored, 19th in rebounds, and an impressive 5th in three-pointers made. These aren't just numbers. They're a clear statement of Clark's versatility and impact on the court. But here's where things get interesting. Despite her incredible stats and game-changing performances, Clark didn't make the cut for the Olympic team. This decision left fans and analysts alike scratching their heads. How could a player of Clark's caliber be left off such a prestigious roster? To really understand the magnitude of this decision, we need to compare Clark to other top guards in the league. When you look at the stats, it's clear that Clark isn't just keeping up, she's often leading the pack. While some guards might excel in one or two areas, Clark's comprehensive performance across various metrics puts her in a league of her own. This isn't just about raw talent or flashy plays. Clark's impact goes beyond the box score. She's the kind of player who can change the momentum of a game with a single play. Her court vision, her ability to create opportunities for her teammates, and her clutch performances in high-pressure situations. These are the intangibles that make Clark stand out. So why wasn't she on the Olympic team? This is where the story gets more complex. Clark's exclusion isn't just about her talent. It's about something bigger that's shaking up women's basketball. Think about it. We have a player who's dominating in college, breaking records and generating buzz like no other. Yet she's not part of the team representing the USA on the biggest international stage. This disconnect points to larger issues in how players are selected and how women's basketball is promoted and managed at the highest levels. Some analysts argue that this decision reflects outdated criteria for player selection. Others suggest it's a missed opportunity to showcase fresh talent and attract new fans to the sport. Either way, it's clear that Clark's absence from the Olympic team is more than just a personal setback. It's a symptom of broader challenges facing women's basketball. This controversy has sparked a fierce debate in the basketball world. It's not just about one player or one tournament anymore. It's about the future of the sport. Who gets to decide what talent looks like at the international level? How do we balance experience with potential? And most importantly, how do we ensure that women's basketball continues to grow and evolve? These are the questions that Taurasi's comments have brought to the forefront. By calling attention to Clark's exclusion, she's opened up a much-needed conversation about talent recognition, player development, and the marketing of women's basketball. Team USA just dominated the Olympics once again, securing their 8th consecutive gold medal in women's basketball. It's an incredible achievement that showcases the strength and skill of American players on the international stage. But something felt off about this victory. Despite the team's success, there was a noticeable lack of buzz surrounding their games. Here's the shocking truth. Only 18 reporters showed up to cover Team USA's Olympic matches. That's right, just 18 media professionals were there to witness and report on one of the most dominant teams in Olympic history. This lack of interest is alarming and raises serious questions about the state of women's basketball coverage. Why such a small turnout for such a significant event? It's a complex issue that goes beyond just the games themselves. Some argue that the lack of media attention reflects a broader disinterest in women's sports. Others point to scheduling conflicts or budget constraints for news organizations. Whatever the reason, it's clear that something needs to change. The controversy surrounding Caitlin Clark's absence from the Olympic team adds another layer to this discussion. On one side, supporters of the team selection process argue that the gold medal victory proves Clark wasn't needed. They say the team's success vindicates the decision to go with more experienced players. But critics see it differently. They argue that Clark's absence was a huge mistake, not just for the team's performance, but for the sport's growth and popularity. Stephen A. Smith, a prominent sports commentator, called it a business failure. He believes leaving Clark off the team was a missed opportunity to showcase one of the most exciting young talents in women's basketball.
This had some observers wondering if the presence of Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese would have the stands packed for Team USA. Team USA and the WNBA and all of these folks shouldn't be thinking about marketing and it's about what's going to be unfair to the other ladies, blah, 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 blah. See, we want to act like marketing and business don't play a role in all of this. Have you ever been to the Olympics?
So who's right in this debate? The truth is both sides have valid points. The team's victory shows they had the talent to win without Clark, but the lack of media coverage and public interest suggests that something is missing from the current approach to promoting women's basketball.
And not make that call when throughout history, Team USA has been in part about marketing. It's dumb. Period.
I've got to wonder, twice the attendance, I think she could draw twice the attendance. I really do.
This controversy reveals a deeper issue at the heart of women's sports. It's not just about winning medals or selecting the best players. It's about the future of women's basketball and who gets to shape it. The decisions made today will impact the sport's growth, popularity, and financial success for years to come. Think about it this way, when we talk about men's basketball, we don't just focus on team victories. We celebrate individual stars, we follow their careers, and we tune in to see spectacular performances. That star power drives interest, attracts sponsors, and grows the sport. So when a potential star like Clark is left off the Olympic team, it's not just a roster decision, it's a statement about the direction of women's basketball. The lack of media coverage at the Olympics is a wake-up call. It shows that even when women's teams achieve greatness, they still struggle to capture public attention. This isn't just a problem for the players or the teams. It's a challenge for everyone who cares about the future of women's sports. So what's the solution? It's clear that winning isn't enough. Women's basketball needs to find new ways to engage fans, attract media attention, and showcase its stars. This might mean rethinking how teams are selected for major tournaments. It could involve new marketing strategies or changes in how games are broadcast and covered. One thing is certain, the sport can't afford to ignore rising stars like Caitlin Clark. These players bring excitement, skill, and new fans to the game. They have the potential to elevate women's basketball to new heights of popularity and success. The WNBA is experiencing a surge in popularity like never before. Viewership and attendance are skyrocketing, and the energy around the league is electric. But what's behind this sudden growth? The answer might surprise you. Enter Caitlin Clark, the rookie sensation who's taking the league by storm. Since joining the Indiana Fever, Clark has been shattering records and captivating audiences. Her impact is undeniable. The Fever's games are now must-see events, with over 16,000 fans packing the stands on average. That's a massive jump from previous seasons when attendance was much lower. But it's not just about butts and seats. Clark's games are breaking TV records too. In fact, 14 of the 16 most-watched WNBA games this season featured the Fever. The excitement around Clark is contagious, and it's spreading far beyond Indiana. The WNBA All-Star Game is a perfect example of the Clark effect. This year's game drew a whopping 3.4 million viewers, tripling the numbers from last year. That's not just a win for the league, it's a seismic shift in how people are engaging with women's basketball. And let's talk merchandise. Clark jerseys and gear are flying off the shelves faster than they can be restocked.
In Eastern Iowa, Clark Fever jerseys are available both in the Cedar Rapids and Davenport Dick's Sporting Goods locations.
Men, women, black, white, whatever. It was like, wow, there's something special about her and what she does and, you know, raising the game.
This time through, I mean, we didn't have nearly enough in stock for just the regular jersey t-shirts and whatnot. And then it's just been nonstop orders.
Fans can't get enough of the rookie phenom, and they're showing their support with their wallets. The WNBA's marketing team is capitalizing on this momentum, putting Clark and other star players front and center. More games are being broadcast nationally, giving fans across the country a chance to see these incredible athletes in action. But here's where things get interesting. Remember how Clark didn't make the Olympic team? Well, that decision is looking more questionable by the day. Stephen A. Smith, the outspoken sports commentator, called it a business failure. And he might be onto something.
I'm sure the answer isn't as simple. Was it the right decision not to put Caitlin Clark on the Olympic team?
I'm okay with it.
Well, the first thing is I feel like I know if it's going in right off my hand, and I think that just speaks to how much time I put in and how many shots I've taken.
Caitlin Clark unloads!
The idiocy. of Team USA women's basketball. How dare you make this decision? It's stupid.
Think about it. The Olympics are supposed to showcase the best of the best, the athletes who can inspire a new generation of fans. By leaving Clark off the team, USA Basketball missed out on a golden opportunity to introduce her to a global audience. The chief growth officer of the WNBA even acknowledged the Caitlin Clark effect, noting her impact on the sport and her ability to attract new fans. It's clear that Clark isn't just a player, she's a phenomenon. But here's the thing, it's not just about Clark, she's at the forefront of a new wave of talent that's revolutionizing women's basketball. Players like Angel Reese are also making waves, bringing fresh energy and excitement to the game. This influx of young talent is changing the face of women's basketball. It's not just about the established stars anymore. Fans are tuning in to see the next big thing, the players who will define the sport for years to come. The impact of this shift goes far beyond the court. It's changing how people perceive women's sports as a whole. The excitement, the record-breaking viewership, the merchandise sales. All of this proves that there's a huge appetite for women's basketball when it's promoted and showcased properly.